Hi, I'm Monica Wihangi, and I am the president of Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart is by far the leader in the stamping industry. Well, I'm excited because we have 4 weeks of stamping techniques that we're going to be teaching you, and there are so many fun things that you can do with our Close to My Heart My Acrylic stamp sets. Now we have 12 techniques, and I am ready to get started. Now you want to make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications because you're not going to want to miss one episode of this awesome stamping series. Let's go ahead and get started. Here is the first stamp that we're going to be using. Now, something really great about this one in particular is not only is it one of our amazing stamp sets, it also has a metal die known as Thin Cuts. That's our own brand. Now let's go ahead and look at what's inside. Of course, you get this packaging, which is just really great quality packaging. This is a nice way to store your stamp sets and your metal dies. Not every stamp set has a metal die. This one just happens to have one, so it's kind of fun to be able to show you that as well. Here's what our metal dies look like. They come in this little sleeve inside of that packet, and this is also a magnetic sheet. So just a little bonus information there. Inside of that envelope, you also have an instruction sheet on how to take care of your stamps, and if it has thin cuts, it'll also tell you how to take care of your thin cuts. There's some really great information. You want to make sure if you're just starting out using our stamps that you read all of this information so that you can get a lifetime use of our beautiful My Acrylic stamps. Another awesome thing about our stamp sets are that we actually manufacture them here, right here in our home office in Pleasant Grove, Utah. So they are USA made, and not only are they made here in the United States and in Utah, this is a special formula unlike any other photopolymer stamp set. We have our own patented process, and no one has stamps like us. So we have hundreds and hundreds of gorgeous designs like this one that are outlined, and you've got stitched lines and all kinds of really fun things we're going to be showing you throughout the rest of the series. But for this one, we're going to start with the basics. This one is called solid stamping. That's the technique I'll be teaching. Remember, there's 12, so this is step 1. So I've also got this awesome little Versamat that can be also purchased through Close to My Heart. It has this foam that you can see. It's kind of like a cushion. Well, you also get this really great foam insert inside of your stamp set. With every single Close to My Heart stamp set comes one of these, and it helps to absorb some of that pressure so that you can get a better solid stamp. And it's just a great tool to have. So you want to make sure you keep those and save those within each of your stamp sets. Now let me show you the sample that I've got to show you some solid stamping. So you can see here we're going to use this flower design here, and look how beautiful it looks. And we're also going to be using our Flamingo ink. Our inks are amazing. We have beautiful inks in our magnetic pads. Again, another patented product of Close to My Heart. So I'm going to be using the Flamingo ink. I'll just put it down to the side. I'm bringing in our clear blocks, which we make ourselves as well. Look how beautiful and solid these blocks are. They have a straight edge on one side and then a little curve on the top side so that you have a better grip when you're stamping. Isn't that so awesome? So not only are our blocks clear, but our stamps are clear too, so you have perfect placement every single time. Now, before we get started, I'm going to bring out my little piece of paper to show you solid stamping here. You want to make sure that your stamps are always seasoned when you use them. These are brand new stamps, and because they come right brand new, they have a little bit more stickiness to them. And so what we do is that we take this stamp, any stamp, off of your block. I'm going to look for that flat edge, and you condition it. I use my skin. You can also stamp it several times on a scratch piece of paper and until you get that smooth image that you want. Now, again, you do have an instruction sheet, so it will tell you how to take care of your stamp and how to season it just right. So that's just one of my little insider tips, is that I like to use my skin to condition, and you can see it's got now that little film on it so that it will have a better, more clear impression. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got, like I said, my Flamingo ink. I'm going to bring it into shot so that you can see I'm just kind of twisting it, tapping it just a little bit to get some good ink coverage. And again, it's clear so I can see exactly where I'm stamping. I'm going to leave that on just for a second. You don't have to put a ton of pressure, especially for a solid stamp, and it's a smaller stamp, but I'm letting that ink just transfer onto that cardstock. So there you have solid stamping. It's that simple. Isn't that so great? Now it will look a little beady at first. Sometimes it does, depending on the design, but it does start to fill in as it dries. Remember, this is wet ink. So just give it a few minutes to dry and you'll see that color come more to life or soften up a little bit depending on the color that you're using. All right, so that's solid stamping. Now let me show you another technique called, I'm gonna put this one to the side. This one's awesome. This technique is called second generation. We're going to use our Desert Rose ink, again, our amazing stamp pads with our magnetic closures, those little awesome lids. I'm going to actually use, let's see, we're going to use the same design, so I've already conditioned it, remember, but I'm going to condition it a little bit more. I did clean my stamp. I have what we call our stamp chamois, this little cloth, and I just cleaned that off. You want to make sure that your stamp is dry before you use it again, so make sure that's dry, and it does feel pretty dry right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little sample piece out here so that you can see what second generation looks like. So second generation means you're doing just like I showed you with the solid stamping, right? Just straight stamping. We're going to do this one way. So here's the straight stamping of that Desert Rose ink. Without re-inking my stamp, I'm going to do a second impression, and that's called second generation. And there you have the second generation, which you can see right here. Let me show you on the sample up close. So here we have that second generation. So just because I wanted to show you the difference between that, here is that Desert Rose in first generation. So here is second generation and first generation. Now imagine the possibilities that you can do with all of our different colors and all the variety of colors you can get with first and second generation stamping. Isn't that awesome? All right, so that is my second technique. Now let's go ahead and do our third technique for this segment. Now this one, I'm going to put the stamp pad away. We're going to do, see this beautiful card, just a note. This is called random stamping. But what's so great about random stamping is it's not that random, actually. There is some method to our madness. I'm going to be using this beautiful cherry blossom outline stamp. Again, so this is a stamp set, an example of one without a thin cut. It's just the stamp set. So you can see you still get that great envelope. You also get that insert, the foam insert that we stamp on, and then how to take care of your stamps. So it's all there. Isn't that so great? So here is our foam insert. I'm going to use the cherry blossom stamp set, and let me go ahead and take out the base. So you can see the cover of this card has these beautiful images. It looks like a background on a paper. Well, we actually made it with stamps. Isn't that so fun? So let me show you how we do that. Again, this technique is called random stamping. So I'm going to use this flower here, and I'm going to grab that block again, and we're going to put this on that flat side again, remember. I'm going to make sure it's conditioned using my skin to condition it. Now I'm going to use the espresso ink, and you're going to see how beautiful that comes together. Now the trick with random stamping, like I said, it's called random stamping, but it's not really that random. Let me just move that aside. So we're going to start on one corner with the design. I'm going to go ahead and ink that again. And now what I'm looking to do is to make a visual triangle. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, so a triangle would be down here. 1, 2, 3. So do you see that triangle shape? So now I build off of that triangle shape to make more triangles. 1, 2, 3. So now my random stamping looks random, but not completely random. It just gives a beautiful aesthetic look that looks random, but it really isn't. So 1, 2, 3. So it's that simple to do random stamping, making sure you've got a visual triangle. So I can see I have a little bit right here that I could do. 1, 2, So let me go ahead and do a little stamping off. There you go. 1, 2, 3. So random stamping, not so random, beautiful result that you can see right here in this card. If you like what you see, we'll be linking all of the products below on this video. Now remember, this is a series of 12 stamping techniques using our beautiful Close to My Heart My Acrylic stamps. So if you like this, you want to make sure you have those notifications turned on and you tune in next week for 3 more awesome stamping techniques.